Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can all just call me Al. Yeah, like I said, nobody knows the real story. No one knows just how the big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because wolves like to eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think people were big and bad too. But this whole big bad thing is all wrong. The real story here is about me and a sneeze and a cup of sugar. Let me tell you the story, okay? Like, this happened a long time ago, way back when, in Once Upon a Time land, and I was making a birthday cake for my granny, and I had this terrible sneezy cold. Well, I ran out of sugar making the cake, and I just was walking down the street looking for a neighbor to get a cup of sugar from. Well, I have my neighbor right next to me, and, well, he's not really bright. He's a pig, and he built his whole house out of straw. Like, can you believe it? Who in their right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door fell right in. And I didn't just want to walk into the house, so I called in, little pig, are you in? There was no answer. Well, I was about to go home without a cup of sugar for Granny for her birthday cake, and then I heard a little noise, and then my nose started itching, and I could feel that sneeze coming on, and oh boy, it was there. It was right there, and I huffed, and I kind of snuffed a little bit, and that great sneeze came out, and once you know, that whole darn straw house fell in, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was that little pig. And he had been home the whole time. It just seemed he didn't want to, answer the door. Well, I couldn't leave that poor, pig just lying there. It was a shame to leave this perfectly good ham dinner just there in the straw, so I ate it. And if there was a cheeseburger lying in front of you, wouldn't you eat it? Well, I was feeling a little better, but, I still didn't have my cup of sugar. I needed that for Granny's cake. So I went to the next door neighbors. Well, this neighbor was the first little pig's brother, and he wasn't a whole lot smarter than little pig, the other little pig. He had built his house out of sticks. Well, I rang the bell on the stick house, and nobody answered, so I called Mr. Pig. Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. Well, I grabbed the doorknob because I felt another sneeze coming on. And, I huffed a little bit and I snuffed a little bit and I tried to cover my mouth, but that sneeze was so great. Well, you're not going to believe it, but I sneezed and that whole house just fell down like his brother's. Now, when the dust cleared and I saw the second pig lying there dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor, that's how I found him. Now, food spoils. You can't just leave it out in the open. So I do like any wolf would do when I had another dinner. Well, think of it like a second helping. You find another cheeseburger, you wouldn't eat that? Well, I was getting awfully full, but the cold was feeling a little bit better. I still didn't have my cup of sugar, though, for dear old Granny's birthday cake, so I went to the next house, and this was the first and second guys, like the little pig's big brother. So he must have been the brains of the whole family because he had built his house out of brick, a lot stronger than straw, a lot stronger than sticks. So I knock on the door of the brick house and there wasn't an answer. So I say, Mr. Pig, are you in? Well, you know, I didn't want to be rude or anything, so I knock again, and the pig says, "No, get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again." Well, talk about impolite. Man, he was impolite. He probably had the whole, a whole sack full of sugar and he didn't want to share it with me. Wow. All I wanted was a little cup of sugar so I could make dear old Granny's birthday cake. What a pig, I tell ya. Now I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake, and I felt, my cold coming on again, and I huffed and I snuffed a little bit, and that sneeze, there was a sneeze coming, I tell ya. And the third pig yelled at me. He said, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Well, that wasn't very nice. That was pretty darn rude, I tell ya. And I'm really a calm fellow usually, but when I hear someone talking about my dear sweet old granny like that, I went a little crazy, I tell ya. The cops drove up, and of course I was trying to, break the door down of the pig's house the whole time. I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. Well, the rest, you'd say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 other pigs that I had for dinner, and they figured, they didn't believe me. I figured they wouldn't believe me at all about the cup of sugar. I tried to explain to them. I tried and tried. Now, people jazzed up the story with the whole huff and puff and blow your house down, but that's not what I said. I said, Mr. Pig, are you in? That's what I said. And they made me out to be this big bad wolf, and that's it. That's the real story. I was framed. I was totally framed. So maybe, if I knock on your door, maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar, would you please? I sure could use it for my granny.